Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman, and in this lesson we'll be analyzing the form of Sonatina in G second movement. We'll also be talking about how to play Sonatina in G with artistry. Let's get started by checking out the score. Here's the score for the second movement, and let's start by figuring out the form for this entire movement. And I'd like you to try it on your own today. So you're going to pause the video, and I'd like you to hunt for the A section, figure out where that starts and ends, and then figure out where the B section begins, and then see if the A section comes back, figure out where the coda is. So you're basically looking for an A section, a B section, where the A section comes back, if it does, and then where the coda starts. Mark that in your music, like if you find the B section, put a big capital B, where the B section begins, and mark all of that, and then press play, and we'll check it out together. All right, well, the A section is usually the easiest to find because it's the start of your piece. And we've got these few pickup notes here, and then here's our A section. To figure out where the section ends, we're looking for a cadence, where the music comes to rest, like what happens here. See how it kind of feels like it comes to rest there? That's a cadence. So that's a prime spot for the end of section A. We have the first ending, goes back and repeats. Also, repeat signs can be sometimes a clue. And then this is where we would begin the B section with these pickup notes right here. Now, does the A section return? If so, where? It comes back right here with these pickup notes. It brings us back to our main theme. And then where's our coda? Here's our fancy coda symbol, or you can just write the word coda. Begins right here where we have a new section. It's brand new music for a special ending. So to write the entire form out, we can say we have an A section that repeats, and then we have a B section. The A section returns, and then we have a coda. So this would be our form for the second movement of Sonatina in G. Now let's talk about some artistry. So to play a piece with artistry, I always love to start with the tempo indication for a clue as to what kind of mood the composer is going for. Well, this time we have a bit of an unusual tempo indication. It's romanze, which is implying that this is a romantic piece. And romantic, remember, doesn't mean exactly the same today that it did in Beethoven's time. In the early 1800s, romantic sometimes just meant it had a lot of emotion or feeling. So this should be played with a lot of expression and feeling. To me, this has a playful, happy quality to it. I imagine children playing in a meadow, or maybe young ducklings playfully tumbling down a stream. It just has a lot of happy playfulness to me. So how do we capture that feeling? I think the left hand can help a lot by not being too heavy. We don't want it to sound like ogres stomping around with big boots on. You know, that ruins the feel for me if the left hand is played too loudly. It's got to stay very light. Think, if you can, pianissimo on those staccati chords. Remember, we talked about an pa, 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 pa. So practice your left hand. Try this with me. Play those two chords as light as you possibly can. And again, the thumb can be such a heavy, clumsy finger. What will help it not to sound clumsy is with thinking of an up motion. Up, up, down, up, up. Try that with me. Down, up, up. Now you try. Good. And now combine that with good voicing. The melody is in the right hand part. So let's make this hand a little louder, the left hand a little softer. Hear how much more beautiful that is than the stomping ogre sound. Keep that left hand as light and as delicate as you can. Another thing that will make this artistically beautiful is thinking about your phrasing. Where is the climax of the phrase? I hear that B right there near the end of the phrase as a bit of a climax, and then we get softer on the last note of the phrase. And then hear how that phrase has a lovely climax right there as we go up that C major triad, and then the decrescendo brings us to the end of that phrase. So give each note a shape. Every phrase has growth to some climax, and then the last note of the phrase brings the energy back down. Then there's a great opportunity for phrasing in the B section, right? With this big crescendo, and then decrescendo to the end of that phrase. Okay, make that as dramatic as you can. It adds to the fun. Don't just be boring. And I fall asleep. You do big crescendo, and with your whole body, you can kind of lean into those crescendos. Kind of lean into it. And that makes it even more exciting, not just to hear, but also to watch. If we can see with your body, you're expressing those crescendos with how you sit even. It's part of the performance. As you get more and more advanced, it's not just about the notes you play, it's about how you play it, how you express it with your body. When we get to this section, in measure 18, how dramatic can you make this? Hold us in suspense on that fermata. What's going to happen? Then it gets quieter, 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 quieter. And then that A sharp is almost like teasing us because it's like, wait, what's going to happen? And then it goes back to the A section. So play with your audience there. You can hold that note, and then it's almost like telling a joke to the audience, but a musical joke. We don't know what's going to happen, so enjoy that suspense right there. We've talked in the past about how part of playing with artistry is trying to tell a story with your music. It doesn't have to be a literal story with like characters and things that happen, but it can. In your imagination, what can you imagine happening here? Are we climbing to the top of a hill and we see this amazing view, and then we maybe start rolling down the hill, getting ourselves all muddy and grassy, and then we're back to walking through the meadow again. Or it could be anything. You can use your imagination to think of a story that this is telling. And then as you're playing it, if you're imagining that story in your imagination, it will help the listeners have more fun as they listen as well. And now let's jump to the coda. Notice the dynamic marking here is piano. Most of this song we've had this pa or broken chords, but now we have block chords, which to me creates a really peaceful mood here. So I think it's a nice moment to, maybe this is when the sun is setting, maybe it's time to start walking home, we're feeling peaceful. I like to, sometimes in my music, I'll write certain mood words right in the music for certain sections, and I encourage you to do that. So maybe here over measure 31, I'd write peaceful, to help me remember to play with a peaceful feeling there. And then here, where the dynamics go back to mezzo forte, I feel more triumphant. I might write exciting or exultant here. Maybe we're galloping off into the sunset there. You know, this reminds me of horses galloping here at the end. So I think exciting, triumphant. Write these kind of mood words into your music at certain places so you can have different moods throughout the piece. So let's talk about practicing this and putting all of these elements together. I encourage you to practice a little different every day. There's the rhythms to work on, the notes, the fingerings, the dynamics, the artistry. So many different things to focus on, so choose something different every day. For example, if you've been struggling, let's say, in measures 35 to the end, start there and maybe practice the right hand alone twice, left hand alone twice, and then hands together maybe 10 times. Focus on one section that you've been having trouble with to really polish it and make it strong. Then you might choose one artistic element to work on, maybe voicing, where you play the right hand fortissimo and the left hand pianissimo. Make it extreme to practice that contrast and then play it normally the way you want the voicing to sound and notice your improvement. Maybe one time you'll focus on the dynamics. Maybe one time you're focusing on phrasing. Every time choose what you're going to improve on so you have a goal for your practicing. If you just mindlessly play through it again and again, it won't necessarily be getting better. If your goal is to work on accuracy, slow it down. Choose a short section. If your goal is to work on artistry, now you're thinking about different things. But once you've put all those elements together, remember to make it an exciting story. At the end of the day, more important to me than playing all the notes correctly is making it fun to listen to, which means it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be exciting and fun to listen to. This is a great piece to have lots of that drama with those rolled chords and all the exciting surprises that come along the way. And of course, remember the metronome is a great practice tool as well. Although, because this piece has that fermata and this section where maybe you're going to slow down a little bit, remember, you don't always want to practice with the metronome because that's going to make you too soldier-like. And this piece needs to have some flexibility where you're not always perfectly playing with the beat. Again, I want you to play with a steady beat, but the metronome is just a tool to help with that. And then when it comes to the real performance, you're going to let it be flexible and let the music breathe in a more natural, flexible way. So don't always practice with the metronome. Try to find the right balance. Great work today, analyzing the form of Sonatina in G second movement and learning how to play it with artistry. Once you feel like you have all of Sonatina in G mastered, both movements, please be sure to share your music with a friend, a family member, or you can share it online with me and our entire Hoffman Academy community. Thanks for watching and learning with me, and happy practicing. Hey, do you want to do some more cooking jokes? You bet! You were on such a roll last time, I didn't even get to tell any. Okay, you go first today. All right. Well, did you hear about the Italian chef who died? No. Yeah, he passed away. Oh, well, you know, we can only do so much. Yeah, his legacy will become a pizza history. Okay, here's one. What do you call a fake noodle? I don't know. What? An impasta. All right. What does a nosy pepper do? I don't know. What? He gets jalapeno business.